Hello students, welcome to EPG Pathshala. I am Dr. Indira Ghosh from Jawaharlal Nehru University and we will be today discussing about the chemical descriptors. This is under the paper Computational Biology. The objective of such a subject to learn today's course is to understand about the descriptors and how the descriptors are affecting and molecular structures, etc., how to generate them, then what are their application. Also, we will be learning mostly in the beginning, we will be learning mostly on 1D or 2D descriptors. However, next will be how to generate from these notations to build the 3D structures and what are their application in understanding of drug design. So, in the drug designing as well as understanding about the chemical annotations and chemical functions with related to biological systems, we have to understand how we use what kind of properties of the chemicals, full or partial, and how they related to their biological functioning. Simple functions are to be explored more and finding their relevant features is our objectives. Beginning, we should start with only 2D descriptors, which would be calculation can be possible from the derivation and calculations from just known 2D structures, which can be converted from SMILE notation to 2D structures as referred previous modules. We will show you what are the effective descriptors. There are more than 1000 descriptors presently available for calculation online. However, most relevant descriptors will be discussed today with some example how to utilize these descriptors to provide some biological or physicochemical functions like log P calculations. After that, in the last part of the module, we will actually take you how to generate from 1D or 2D to 3D structures and what are the relevant descriptors you can think of for utilizing in drug designing. With examples, we will give you those informations and discuss with you what are the relevance. At the end, we will give you a small exercise which will be covering this our from second module to the previous module to this module. Descriptor calculations, this is very many numerical descriptors. Most of them are numerical. Sometimes these descriptors can fall into which we call fingerprint, which we will take care later. But these are just descriptor calculations. Molecular weight is a specific for a descriptor. You can use for a descriptor calculations. And number of times hydrogen bond donors or a number of aromatic rings or rotatable bonds can be descriptors because anything, every numbers or relevant to the chemistry can be counted as a descriptor. This is because any of these which has a relevance or have an association with the biological interactions are called as descriptors. We can use descriptors for similarity searching. We can having the similar descriptors and search the values and make clusterings. As well, descriptor calculation is very important role to play in the structure activity relationship to build. One of the very important descriptors are topological indices. These can be calculated from 2D structure. So there may be many topological indices, but few of them have a very important role to play, and some of them are designed to represent only the structural features, like how many branching is there, how many structural similarity or substructure similarity are there. This can also be calculated from connection table or closely related formats. Distance matrix between the distance between like number of bonds one atom is different from another atom or differentiated with another atom can also be included in distance matrix. These all are topological indexes. Here is an example of one of the topological index called distance matrix. Here are the numbers written on the rows shows and the column shows the number of atoms. Now, if you can look at one of the atoms like number 6, then we can go to the number 6. 6 is connected with 1 by 3 bonds. You can count. 1 is 6 to 4, then 4 to the 2 and 2 to 1. And these 3 bonds are numbers are written in the 6, the row on the first line. Similarly, whole matrix has been filled up. But as you see, the matrix on the right hand side, half of the matrix is duplicated in the lower half. Hence, there is a redundancy in the matrix. One of the important ones is called Wiener index, which is just add up all the off-diagonal elements and divide by 2. So, from the previous matrix, you can go to the next values of Wiener index. And it has been found that Wiener index correlates very well with the boiling points of all alkanes. So, there is a biological relevant of Wiener index. Similarly, we can go to another index called Zagreb index. Non-hydrogen atom, for each non-hydrogen atom, if we have add up the squares of the number of connection to other non-hydrogen atoms, we get the Zagreb index. Many cases, Zagreb index has been used to predict some of the boiling points. Wiener number is another one which I have shown here how one calculates. From the distance matrix shown in the lower bottom of the slides, has shown how the propane structure and 1, 2, 3, 4 depicts its atom number has been shown in the matrix. So, Wiener number for propane is 9. There is another index which is also very much important, which has been elaborated because of hydrogen suppressed graph. And this is mutually non-adjacent edges in the hydrogen suppressed graph. There is a graph in the bottom. So there are 3 values for the 3 directed connections because maximum number of connectivity here is 3. Any atom can be depicted by maximally 3 connectivity. So there is a P0 which is 1. Then P1 component, the first component is equal to the number of bonds. There are 3, 4. So 4 bonds are shown here. And then there is a number 2 which actually is depicted in the bottom line, how to collect the 2. Now, Z value is summation of mutually non-adjacent edges given by 7. These numbers or these indices might be very useful for unique classification of many a number of molecules available in large databases. Very easy to calculate. Delta value is another which counts the adjacent atoms other than hydrogen. So actually all the sigma bonds count. Total number of valence and total number of delta both are depicted here in these numbers. So you can calculate this by simply calculating the number of bonds available. There is electronic informations and they also have been used in different ways. Here are the expansion of how to calculate the delta values from sigma minus H. Sigma is the count of electrons in sigma orbital and H is the count of bonded hydrogen atoms. These are very simple to calculate by having the numbers and graphs in your hand or in your computer. Delta V is another value which is encodes the count of valence electrons on atom excluding the hydrogen. And also this counts of sigma pi lone pair electrons excluding the bonds to hydrogen. Hence, this is an estimate gives for electronic informations of a molecule. There are descriptors can be chosen from quantum numbers also. And there are 4 different quantum numbers which has been utilized quite a lot for making the chemical structures and chemical relevant reactions to predict. One of them is principal quantum number, which is describe the electrons' energy and distances from their nucleus, which is relevant for most of the cases, reaction, etc. Other three are angular momentum quantum numbers, which is related to the shape of the orbitals which the electrons are moving. So, angular momentums can be quantum numbers, can be related to their sp2, sp3, etc. hybridized molecules, and they will differ. Magnetic quantum number is also related to the orientation of these orbitals in the space, as well the spin quantum number, which has been utilized for actually depicting the electron spin characteristics. These four quantum numbers have not been much used in drug designing. However, they have been very relevant to the usage of reaction mechanism and other relevant issues. The example of the four quantum numbers are at least one of them is shown in delta values here. And you can see the value of delta V and delta 2 separate for every bonded atom type which is shown, whether it's sp2, sp3, they differ by numbers in some values, not necessarily all. There is another very important electronegativity value called Keir-Hall electronegativity value. Instead of using only delta V and delta, one uses delta V minus delta divided by n square, where n is the principal quantum number. And this has highly correlated with the electron volt, which is shown here on the left table, on the second column, third column, and the fourth column. These two correlates very well and had been utilized quite well in different cases of predictions. Few definitions has to be really elaborated here before we go to other indices. Something called molecular connectivity. Structures are very much related to molecular connectivity in that kappa index, kappa shape index particularly, are the basis of a method where molecular structure quantification has been attributed, and this attribution is related to molecular shape and it encodes by three indices. These kappa values are derived from 1 bond, 2 bond and 3 bond type of fragments. Many cases they really helpful for annotation of fragments. There is another called molecular connectivity called chi value. Chi value and phi indexes, which is kappa index, are also restricts the molecular flexibility and electronic information. Both of them are very much correlated with electronic information like sigma, pi and lone pair, and chi indexes, kappa indexes or phi indexes are very important for restricting their flexibility. To go with the definitions continued, topological state indices are another relevant index, and this is dependent very much on the environment. Hence it has been used, this relationship between atom to every other atoms, their topological relevance is been along the bonded path traced normally. Another important index which has been utilized in chemical notations and chemical data analysis is electrotopological index, and this called E state. That has been related to very much to the for polarity and hydrogen bonding capability. We will be showing you some of the examples in next few slides. Molecular connectivity is a whole series of index which has been developed by Keir and Hall, as I told earlier, and it has a size of subgraph determinants. And this order of the indexes are given here. Every index is related to the bond numbers, and all the bond orders are listed here 0, 1, 2, 3, and every index is correlated with subgraphs. Here are the example of connectivity index. The colors actually matches that. So path subgraph, only 1 or 2 connected nodes. Cluster subgraph, like this is the number 2 connected nodes only. Path clusters, any sort of node can be explained. Chain is a subgraph which involves the rings. And these are 4 higher order subgraphs. Most often we can use the subgraph for finding similarity or substructure. Each subgraph can be explained or mathematically can be expressed by this kind of annotation, which has been expression is written here. Molecular connectivity indexes can also have valence modified index. Here I want to explain that very many experimental data has been found out to be having high correlation with connectivity index. Now the question, how you find the correlation? Basically, you list out some of the properties on your left hand side and many of the descriptors on the right hand side, like x1, x2, etc. are the topological indices, or they are the descriptors. Then you try to fit many structures of having different properties, and that solution gives you the value of C0, C1, C2, C3, which I will elaborate more when we go to the quantitative and structure activity relationship. However, it has been found many of the properties of physicochemical nature and even biological nature has been a good correlation with several number of the x1, x2, x3 or descriptors or topological and connectivity indices. Simple molecular graph and connectivity is depicted here. Here you have a binary, example of binary. Only if it is connected to the atom 1 to 2, it will be 1. If it's not connected, we give 0. However, very interestingly, the large graph of which is depicted here can be actually modified or extracted as a small graph shown on the right hand side. This depicts you very large scale common connectivity of these binary types can actually be reduced graph, can be expressed in a form of reduced graph. And then the calculation becomes very fast. What do the topological indexes mean? And that is a very good question. Does it really relevant for any meaning? Yes. Most often the order of 6-path cluster or valence modified Kerr index, they have very strong chemical meaning. Many of the topological indices effectively encode the same information as fingerprint of fragments, but they do not have very direct meaning or direct understanding of with the chemistry or chemical information. Property prediction is often useful for predicting the chemical properties of the molecules from the descriptors, and we will cite some of these examples. However, most often many of the properties are used, and then regression methods are used, sometimes linear, sometimes non-linear, to predict such properties. Well-known training sets are used for beginning, and then we find the relevance of this training model, how it has been functioning for test sets. Generally, they perform quite well when there is a set which is smaller than the major cases, not a large data set. However, new methods are explored nowadays to find large scale property prediction also. Next, we will show you log P, a property of a molecule, how to predict that using already developed or explained new descriptors. Here I depict one example of octanyl water partition coefficient, which is very regularly used by designing of compounds called log P. This value is been found very useful for predicting bioavailability of a drug and how much of the compound should be gone to the lipid, in the lipid to be able to cross the cell membrane, and how much is soluble. These two can be estimated by log P values. Many methods have been used, and I will show you few calculations in next few slides based on many of the structures, and which has been done by Corwin Hansch and R. Leo, one of the first pioneer in this field, and from Pomona College. They identify large number of fragments which contributes to log P values and actually trained a large training set. They also accurately measured log P, and biological relevance of these two were calculated by fitting some of the equation I showed you earlier with the descriptors. And then they have found out that these atom-based methods have been successfully was able to predict the fragment log P from the fragment log P, actual log P of the molecules. There are several other methods on log P calculation has been developed after by that, like Gordon-Crippen. Then based on atom types, there are different kind of values have been used and different kind of atom types have been used. All these values are available online nowadays for calculation of log P. These properties not only calculate, this atom-based property not only calculate very fairly well with log P, but also useful for molar refractivity, which is measurable quantity. Then charge partial surface area, which is very much related to intestinal absorption. These are important factor in drug development because measuring all these characteristics gives you a very good understanding of how the drug's efficacy versus drug's absorption in the body. These two properties, which is very difficult to measure in a human body. Developing this kind of descriptors and molecular model, there is a strong impact of chemoinformatics in the field of to convert the structure from 2D to 3D, also to correlate the descriptor with its biological properties, which is called quantitative structure activity relationship, building some of the pharmacophore model, also doing docking. It has been also extended more to look at the surface or electrostatic property of the whole molecule or its partial electrostatic property to have an interaction mapping with the biological relevant macromolecule like protein, DNA, etc. Now we come to the last part. 2D structures do give very good planar diagram of the things, but it does not depict the three-dimensional structure of the molecule. It does not give you full functioning molecule, neither the shape nor the volume or surface exposed areas. There are structure generation which has been done very well with different ways. One is experimental data available, that database contained in Cambridge Structure Database. There are also computational chemists has approached by using quantum mechanics, molecular mechanics and molecular simulation or dynamics. They have to do the structure generation. Presently available three methods which are very much well established and available as online: Concord, Corina and Omega. There are other methods also available, but I will describe only one method of Omega. Here I depict the molecule which is by 2D on the left hand side, smile notation or 1D on the top written, the name of the molecule and the fragments of the molecules shown up there. How to generate from 2D to 3D, I will show later, not only the 3D structure, but how to generate various conformer, because 3D differentiate itself from the 2D by its different way of having the shape and size. Omega is optimized molecular ensemble generation application, and this has set of rules which allowed these torsion angles to be bond or the bond depending on the bond type to picked up from torsion library and fix it. So it generates many conformer quite a fast way. It calculates its energy. However, it gives the geometry optimization by using some mostly the molecular force field. And this has been designed by Mark only to depict small molecules. Here I show you the application of these three-dimensional molecular modeling. Few slides on that. How to superimpose two compounds, both are actives. Once you get the superimposition, you always get the structures, how they're relevant. Here I showed the violet color, the one of the structures, both are active compounds, superimposed highly between two, and interactive sites from protein are shown by the red and blue colors sticks model. That shows that more you dock correct active compounds, they should be able to superimpose. Not only they should be superposed, they should be interacting with the protein molecule similar manner. Next slide shows, instead of docking the molecules, one can take substructure searching method. However, three-dimensional substructure searching associate not only the fragment, but also the relevant features, distance and angles. In the red color on the left hand side shows you the relevant features distance, like distance between oxygen and nitrogen or oxygen and oxygen, which are important for interacting to the active site. Milestones in molecular modeling is one of those important thing is not only to superimpose structures. Can we paint or can we have a three-dimensional surface calculation of the small molecule which actually should be complementary to the protein structure or the binding receptors? COMFA or comparative molecular fit analysis gives us that work, and what it does is it first fits a grid around the molecule, calculating its energy from complementary point of view, and then correlates statistically how best it can have the structural impositions. And this can be actually used and developed a lot of drug in the future. The structural superposition is a must be the most important criteria to start with. This is not only applicable, the techniques, not only applicable only for small molecule. However, we have developed, and over the period of times, this has been developed many cases to align structures of proteins or carbohydrates or DNA, RNA, etc. And fragment alignment has been a creating structural alignment, and the active site similarity has been a backbone for finding lot of protein similarities under different kind of active sites. This has been also applied to the protein folding, etc. We were discussing all about small molecule. However, the same method of portraying the molecule from 1D, 2D to 3D can be adopted and can be find relevant in finding the similarity between two proteins also. Next few slides I will just take you through using the same kind of techniques or methods to find relevant fold or similar fold in different kind of proteins. Portrait, one of the compares one of the software developed which actually compares such representation of the active site similarity between two different class of proteins. And some of the slides would follow after this will depict you or inform you how that has been applied in proteins. However, here I show you representation of folding motifs. As you see very well, on the top the pictures depicts only the line depiction of representation of macromolecule. In the left hand side is the all the atom, and right hand side on the top is only the white color shows the main chain. However, if we extract from main chain only the helices and the structures, beta structures, you get to know the right cornermost bottom picture, which is a folding motif of one of the very good elementary structure of a protein. I will show you in the next slides by using this target which I have already shown you between the relationship with leucine aminopeptidase, which is sequentially not at all similar to another peptidase which is carboxypeptidase. They have at least 7 secondary structure element similar to each other, that is alpha helices and beta structure. And these structures have been folded containing 5 helices and 8 strands. On the other hand, the 5-CPA, which is carboxypeptidase, has only 7% sequence homology. And both of them have relationship between their binding site. And here I show you the two structures, as left hand side is the LAP and next one is the CPA. And if you remove everything and just superimpose the two structures on their secondary selective structure based, you get to know how good alignment of structural alignment can have. This is an example, exact equivalent example of what I have told you earlier about the chemical similar structural elements. Now I will request you to look into these 3 drugs and request you to build up the SMILE format, calculate as many descriptors you like to calculate, and all the 3 are for 3 different diseases. Hence, one is paracetamol, which is already known drug, aspirin is the next one, and omeprazole is the other example. So, formula is written, however, the chemical structure is shown to you, and how to exercise them is been given in my last slide of here, which is the exercise. So you go to this and calculate all these values, miles, and try to understand how to do these exercises. So we have concluded mostly the effect of the chemoinformatics using its different kind of descriptors, and we figure out and we have passed to you this information how to actually calculate these descriptors. We also have described you which are the important descriptors which is taken care of the biological relevant properties. We have given an application to you how to perform to predict some of the properties. In drug designing and the field of finding relevant compounds, these are the techniques which are extensively used to do a initial annotation for large compound database. This has become almost day-to-day relevant work in the drug designing field, whether it is in drug industry or even in the academics. Many compounds and their databases are already been available in National Cancer Institute or even in the bioinformatics information systems available from NCBI and from the European Molecular Biology Institutes. And these databases are not only annotated by their relevant features, sometimes they are also come with their bioactivity. So using these topics and the descriptors as you have been learning, one should be able to develop methods, develop models, and predict certain extent the new compounds and how they are going to behave, which will help a lot in reducing the synthetic chemistry and bioassay, which is very, very highly costly in drug designing pipeline. Thank you for your listening the modules.